See? Well, first of all, yeah? Well, that's okay. Good afternoon. Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum and shukrun are the only two things that I know by now. You say in Arabic, but I promise next time I'm going to prove myself. The first thing when you are invited to a lecture is, and especially in sports marketing, is to thank you, all that people that has allowed that this event happens. So I would like to start thanking Mr. Chairman, Mr. Rashid, Secretary General, Mr. Al-Wabil, all the Sport Investment Committee members, the sponsor, Kia, Al-Jabbar Company, Arkan Business Group, Mr. Abdullah Bab, and all the media representatives as well. And finally, why not, all of you being so generous to come to listen to me here today. The first thing is to be fair and to thank people. And the second thing is to manage expectations. I'm going to try to see if that works. I think it was told. Okay, that's the thing. The second thing is to manage expectations. We are going to talk tonight about sports investment. Sports investment is a large area. So that goes from licensing to merchandising to investing in a stadium. So it's important to manage expectations. Why? Because some people might think that an issue is going to be treated, and maybe not. Maybe someone is specialized in sports marketing and thinks that we are talking and it's very basic, but some other people it's new into the issue. So always we try to find an in between, and I hope that at least you are sharing with me some good knowledge and some ideas. But please, at the end, do question if you want to go deeper in any subject. I'll be glad. And if it's something that I've mentioned you don't know, I'll be glad as well to give it a better explanation. So that's today's agenda. So we will talk about investing in sports, about the show, the business. We will talk about as well the stakeholders. It's very important. The stakeholders in sports investment. You may think that they go from clubs to investors to a community to authorities. A lot of people is involved. We'll talk about goals, expectations, what people is expecting from investing in sports. As well, we will go a bit deeper on the four main elements that are always talk on investment in sports marketing, which is sponsorship, licensing and merchandising. We will talk as well about sports celebrity endorsement and social responsibility, philanthropy investment. And we'll have some Q&A for you to tell us. Well, you look here at pictures, a guy with a lot of money. Today so sometimes it's much easier to explain something saying what is not than saying what it represents. So sport investment is not gambling, it's not betting. So this is not a sport investment. No, we're not talking about other elements that are important. What it is? Talking about a sport, we have to talk about the power of a sport. Here you will see, a definition that it was set by United Nations, the Task Force on Sport and Leisure. And they are saying that covers all physical activities and contributes to physical fitness and so forth. That's great. But what is important about the power of a sport is that moves from fostering ambition from youngsters to the impact that sports might have in cities' image, but as well in its people, and as well in the social development and the investment in cities. I'll just give you the example. Barcelona, back in 1992, it was a city that was living backwards to the sea. I don't know if you've been in Barcelona. It's a great city. I invite you all to go. But, thanks to the Olympic Games, all the infrastructure, it was done in the city. And, the city became, one of the nicest cities, like the man as well. Huh? Very nice. So social value of a sport, it's very important. Social responsibility, not only corporate, as well as sports social responsibility. That Barca, we did, the UNICEF. We will talk a little bit, and, if you have questions, I'll be glad to talk to you about that. But let's take an example of football. Football, that started, many years ago, more than a century ago, being a simple leisure. Then, that became, a sport. Someone called it later, this is a show. And there was a smart guy that came and said, hey, this is a business. Forget the show. This is a business. We're going to make money. And believe me, there's people who's making money. Beyond Messi. Messi is making a lot of money. But, some other people as well. The industry context. Let's see the area and what we are working. Today we talk about team sports. When we talk about team sports, name it football, name it basketball. We can say it's quite general on that. In the past decade, that has had a great growth, mainly driven to three elements. One, it was stadium development. The second, it was broadcasting the regulation. We can explain a little bit later what that represents. And the third, it was marketing activities, the development on all the marketing activities behind. And that move, and that led to a major change in the model, a new business model. That represents that some clubs move from local organizers, like it was a small circus, to a big global entertainment companies. It's like a theme park, like a Walt Disney company. So, in Spain, there are clubs, there are small organizers, Real Madrid, Barcelona, and others, Chelsea, Manchester. Those are, with media, with all the products behind, with a number of things. Those are, brander marketers. So this is very important to take into account. So that move in the industry in the past years led to break the market into two segments. One, it was that the big clubs take most of the benefit, developing global franchises and as well, developing powerful brands. So what happens, and especially, given the money that is being paid on TV broadcasting, is that big clubs are taking most of the chunk of that, and the small ones, take a much lesser, and at the end, most of the clubs take the money, especially to invest on players. What happens that difference between big and small ones, each time the gap is bigger. Okay, we will see a bit later as well. Who are the sport stakeholders? Who is playing in that game? Well, I'm saying basic things that It's just to structure a little bit. So we have at the beginning, not only the players, the coaches, and the spectators. There's many people around, the sports business and the sports investment, because at the end, everybody is interacting each other. Who we have? We have as well the manufacturers. We have as well the dealers. Retail is very important in sport. We have mass media, politics. Why? Because sports investment is as well something the institutional authorities, they take. We will see. And writers, journalists, thanks to media, probably most of you saw, the Champions final in Wembley. Some of you maybe, went to London, but some others, didn't. So, media took us, that much. That was very important. That's the reason. And I always impressed that I'm in the Gulf, how the deep knowledge that we have in sport. Sometimes I'm not joking with my friends when I'm back to Barcelona, and I say, those guys there, they know sometimes much more about Barcelona than myself. And that's true. And have some representatives here that we've been talking, and sometimes I have to say, well, no, I don't know that. In which side of the table are you? We are talking about the stakeholders. Very easy. We're going to make it easy. To simplify, 4 corners. In one, I wrote football clubs. That might be sport clubs. This is one part of the stakeholders. Another one is institutional authorities, governments, major representations, local community, and private investors. What happened with those corners? Well, with those corners, what happened is that they interact. Sometimes it's the same issue that they are interacting each other, but what happens is that the objectives and the expected results for all of them may differ a lot. Let's going to take a little bit each one. Well, I'm not discovering you. Which are the goals of the clubs? The first one is to gain titles. Anyone, I don't know if there are club representatives here? Yes, there are some. Okay, so at the end, what do you want? You want to win. You want to get the titles. I was, yesterday I had the fortune to be with Al Hilal. They were saying the number of titles as well, but I've seen many other clubs, Al Shawab, I always pronounce very well, Al Qadisiyya, more or less. I saw, plenty of titles, not only in the sport. This is a little bit the beauty, that they have as well multi-sport. That's great. And the second objective is to obtain economic performance. We're going to start by the second one. Let's going to see what is the objective. How to make money in a sport. Well, someone is start writing, so I want to know, that's what I want to know. How am I going to make money? Well, it's easy, 3 elements. Most of the clubs, not only in football, basketball, only, to make it simple, 3 main buckets. The first one is ticket sales, memberships, season ticket holders, everything that is about the theme park. It's like a theme park. Everybody that comes, food and beverage, things like that, that makes approximately a third of the business, of the revenue. The second one is all those activities that I was saying earlier, about marketing, licensing, sponsorship, retail, all of that. That makes approximately another third. And the third one, television rights. In the past year, television rights in Spain, Media Pro, that it's here with Al Jazeera, in many other countries, in Germany, in Italy, in the UK, TV is what is feeding the clubs, and this is very important to keep it. But, as you know as well, if you want to make money, you can make it having a big revenue, but as well, the profit is lowering the cost. I'm saying that because in sports, what has happened is that people was always looking at revenue. They were not looking, at managing and to be tight with the cost. And this is very important. Deloitte, which is a consulting firm that they issue 5-6 years ago a rule saying it's wise that clubs do not spend more than 50-55% of their revenue in sports salaries. What does it mean? That a club cannot spend 80-85% on the salary of players, because something happens and then they are expecting a sponsor, they are expecting something, and then the problems come. So how we are going to make money with those 3 lines? That's the revenue. We can make money lowering the cost, but also, and that's happened, and as well, that some people expect making money selling the team. And I'm not inventing. You know that in Europe, many clubs are being sold or have been sold in Spain, in Italy, in many other countries, and that's a way. So, we have to put it in the element. I want to show you this video for you to see the second side. Even if it's Real Madrid, you are going to like it. Okay, thank you. Well, those were the 6 caps that we won last year. We were saying, I wanted just to give you, that glimpse of that feeling, what Barca. As an example, I don't want to make proselytism of Barca. I'm a Barca fan. I work at the club until end year, but I have plenty of friends from Madrid, from Chelsea, from many other clubs, and many other clubs, do things, if not the same, very similar. And each club has its own assets and its own good things. I start saying that, what were the key elements, to make an economical performance. Now I want to tell you what Barca does, what we think are the key elements for success in terms of getting for titles. sport is like a ball. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. It's important to know how to win, and it's more important to know how to lose.